Hello, good afternoon, or whenever you come across this. It's just going to be a quick, short little read. I wanted to read the prologue of The Ships of Earth by Orson Scott Card, Homecoming, Volume 3. I know there's a lot of controversy about Orson Scott Card. I still loved this book, and I still remember specific parts of it. But this prologue, let's get into it. It's just a couple of pages. The master computer of the planet Harmony was full of hope at last. The chosen human beings had been drawn together and removed from the city of Basilica. Now they were embarked on the first of two journeys. This one would take them through the desert, through the Valley of Fires, to the southern tip of the island once called Vusiadka, to a place where no human being had set foot for 40 million years. The second journey would be from that place across 1,000 light years to the home planet of the human species, Earth, abandoned 40 million years ago and ready now for human beings to return. Not just any human beings, these human beings, the ones born after 1,000,000 generations of guided evolution with the strongest ability to communicate with the master computer, mind to mind, memory to memory. However, in encouraging people with this power to mate and therefore enhance it in their offspring, the master computer had not made any attempt to choose only the nicest or most obedient or even the most intelligent or skillful. That was not within the purview of the computer's program. People could be more difficult or less difficult, more or less dangerous, more or less useful, but the master computer had not been programmed to show preference for any decency or wit. The master computer had been set in place by the first settlers on the planet Harmony for one purpose only: to preserve the human species by restraining it from the technologies that allowed wars and empires to spread so far that they could destroy a planet's ability to sustain human life, as had occurred on Earth. As long as men could fight only with hand weapons and could travel only on horseback, the world could endure, while the humans on it would remain free to be as good or evil as they chose. Since that original programming, however, the master computer's hold on humanity had weakened. Some people were able to communicate with the master computer more clearly than anyone had ever imagined would be possible. Others, however, had only the weakest of connections. The result was that new weapons and new methods of transportation were beginning to enter the world, and while it might yet be thousands or tens of thousands of years before the end would still come. And the master computer of Harmony had no idea of how to reverse the process. This made it urgent enough for the master computer to attempt to return to Earth, where the keeper of Earth could introduce new programming. But in recent months, the master computer and some of its human allies discovered that the keeper of Earth was already somehow introducing change. Different people had dreamed clear and powerful dreams of creatures that had never existed on Harmony, and the master computer itself discovered subtle alterations in its own programming. It should have been impossible for the keeper of Earth to influence events so far away, and yet that entity which had dispatched the original refugee ships 40 million years before was the only imaginable source of these changes. How or why the keeper of Earth was doing this, the master computer of the planet Harmony could not begin to guess. It only knew that 40 million years had not been kind to its own systems, and it needed replenishment. It only knew that whatever the keeper of Earth asked for, the master computer of Harmony would try to supply. It asked now for a group of human beings to recognize the Earth, or rather, to recolonize the Earth. So the master computer chose 16 people from the population of Basilica. Many were kin to each other. All had unusual ability to communicate with the master computer. However, they were not all terribly bright, and not all were particularly trustworthy or kind. Many of them had strong dislikes or resentments toward others, and while some of them were committed to the master computer's cause, some were just as committed to thwarting it. The whole enterprise might fail at any time if the darker impulses of the humans could not be curbed. Civilization was always fragile, even when strong social forces inhibited individual passions. Now, cut off from the larger world, would they be able to forge a new, smaller, harmonious society? Or would the expedition be destroyed from the beginning? The master computer had a plan. The master computer had to plan and act as if the expedition would survive, would succeed. In a certain place, the master computer triggered a sequences of events. Machinery that had long been silent began to hum. Robots that had long been in stasis were awakened and set to work, searching for machines that needed repair. They had waited a long, long time, and even in a stasis field, they could not last forever. It would take several years to determine just how much work would be needed, and how it should or even could be done. But there was no hurry. If the journey took time, then perhaps the people could use that time to make peace with each other. There was no hurry, or rather, no hurry that would be detectable to human beings. To the master computer, accomplishing a task within 10 years was a breathless pace, while to humans it could seem unbearably long. For though the master computer could detect the passage of milliseconds, it had memories of 40 million years of life on Harmony so far, and on that scale, compared to the normal human lifespan, 10 years was as brief a span of time as 5 minutes. The master computer would use those years well and productively, and hoped the people could manage to do the same. If they were wise, it would be a time in which they could create their families, bear, and begin to raise many children, and develop into a community worthy to return to the keeper of Earth. However, that would be no easy achievement, and at the moment, all the master computer could really hope for was to keep them all alive. Hey, DN. So that was the prologue. This book is juicy good, y'all. Maybe if I ever found like a confidence to do voices, I just always end up laughing at myself. Right? It's so good. I really love this book. So anyhow, that was that, and go check it out. I'll link below where you can go and purchase this book if you're interested. It's a whole amazing journey. You know, I actually I got this book from a dude I briefly dated like 15 years ago. I think that's the only reason I really dated him in the grand scheme of things, so that I could have this book. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there was more lessons, right? But this is the lasting one. So anyhow, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Take care of yourself.